Ninth Hour. So I'm going to give you guys a little recap, a little bit more information for what you will be working on today while I am gone. So after watching this video, you will go to the slideshow and do all the things I'm about to show you. I'm hoping that you guys will be on your best behavior for today. Definitely show off this cool project that we're doing here at the end to the substitute, but make sure you're on your best behavior and make sure you're getting your work done as well as making good choices. So after this video, you will go into Google Classroom. You're going to go into the classwork and find our therapeutic toy project. You'll want to go ahead and open that slideshow, and it's going to open into a screen that looks like this. Let me get myself back up here again. So if you are working by yourself, you will just input your name on this first slide. If you're working with a team member, you're going to be sitting next to them in class, and one of you can type into here. What you need to make sure you do, so let's say I'm partnered up with Ronnie, okay? Just throwing out a name out there, okay? Then let's say that Ronnie is doing the typing on his Chromebook. He needs to make sure he hits that share button up above and shares this slideshow with me so that if Ronnie's ever gone, then I can access the slideshow still. So if you are working with partners, make sure you get to that share button up above and share it with the people who are not actually typing into this. Yesterday, we watched the video here on slide 2. So if you were not here yesterday, you should watch this video. If you forgot what the video said, rewatch it. If all the things, it's a good video. Those 5 minutes, they'll go by pretty quick. It gives you the info because after watching that video, you should be able to answer the question, what should you keep in mind when developing a toy for a child with cerebral palsy to use during occupational therapy? So this is not a quote unquote normal child, right? If they have this cerebral palsy diagnosis, that means that they're going to have some muscle difficulty. So what are some things that video talked about or we talked about that you would have to consider when making a toy or a game for them? After you've answered this question on slide 3, you're going to go to slide 4. And here on slide 4 is where you're going to start reading about some of these children, and you're going to decide who is going to be your client. So yesterday we talked about the 4 therapeutic goals. So this first goal, if I place myself underneath them here, okay, this first goal is that wrist extension. Okay, so designing a toy or a game that's going to encourage the child to extend their wrist and have them practicing and strengthening those muscles. The second therapeutic option is hand-eye coordination. So remember, we use a lot of hand-eye coordination when we are trying to catch something. So if the ball is being thrown to us, in order to move our hand and get it to where it needs to be, we have to kind of track that ball with our hands. We have to track the ball with our eyes and get our hands there to get to it. If I am trying to touch a specific spot, that is hand-eye coordination. I need to see where it is and I need to get my hand there. If I'm hanging up a coat onto a hook, that's hand-eye coordination. I see where the hook is. I am putting something on it, okay? So anytime you see and you are putting something there, that is hand-eye coordination, okay? The next therapeutic goal we talked about yesterday was the pincer grasp. I don't know why my video got highlighted here, okay? So the pincer grasp, okay? When you're holding a cup, that is a different type of hold than if you're holding a pencil, right? Different muscles. Here, it's more of my hand and my wrist. Pincer grasp, it's using those finger muscles and everything to kind of grip and hold on to that. So anytime you hold on, grab something and pick it up, or grab something, push it in, or slide it, or move it, or key, all of those are pincer grasp. Okay, so you have that as an option. Or you have kind of our assisted walking. Okay, so if you actually read, the only child that has this therapeutic goal is Hannah. And if you read her profile, because that's what you'll do when you come in here, is you'll click on each of these names and you'll be able to view their profiles. Hannah's profile talks about how she is actually wheelchair bound, but is working on strengthening her legs so that she can walk. Okay, so you'd be creating a prototype toy for someone to help them strengthen their legs and ankles and muscles and all of that so that they can walk. Okay, so the big thing here is that you're actually going to, so if I go and click on Hannah's profile here, okay, it'll pull up a link and then we will go over to this profile and we will see examples. So I kind of showed some of these other ones yesterday. Definitely have to give it a little bit of time to load here. So here's Hannah. She's a 3-year-old girl. She loves to play outside. So you're going to want to read about her. Okay, definitely read. So her therapeutic goal is walking with a walker. And then it talks about how in occupational therapy, what does that look like? Why is she doing that? They do give examples of toys in here. You want to get creative and make something unique, different, special. Obviously, having wheels and rolling and being able to move is kind of what they all have in common, but can you put a new spin on it? Is there something that we don't see here in this list that you could make that would be of interest to 3-year-old Hannah? Okay. So you're going to pick your child. You are going to click and drag this yellow star to whichever child you are choosing. Okay, so that's your first pick and tells me how. And then on the next slide, you're actually going to type in and tell me, okay, what's the name of your client or the child you chose? What skill does your client need help with? And then this is a big one. You have to write at least 3 project ideas. Okay. Now I know that most of us, we come up with an idea and that's the one we want to make. And that may be the case, but I am expecting you to come up with 3 different ideas for that client. Okay. After you have your 3 ideas, you should think about, okay, what can I get done in the next few days? We don't have a long time for this project. Which one do we actually have the supplies for? I'm going to talk about supplies in a second. Which one do we just realistically think we can do? Which one do we think will help the child more than the others, etc.? Okay, consider those things before making up your mind. Okay, with that, I'm going to talk about supplies because you're going to kind of need that to figure these out. Basically said, the supplies for this project that I have to offer are the same ones as the AFO project. You will have a budget sheet and you will be keeping track of how much money you spent, just like with the AFO, except that at that $5 cap, okay, there is room to spend more than $5, but you're going to really have to talk to me about why you would need more than those $5 for this part of the project. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go full screen here. Woo. Okay. But just some of the supplies that we use. Okay. We had the craft foam. There's the felt fabric. We have kind of the cardstock, kind of thicker, tougher paper. Cardboard and hot glue are still going to be free for this project. I've got dowel rods and pipe cleaners. There was the string. Okay, if you need string. There is safety pins, rubber bands, elastic, Velcro, kind of all of those same AFO supplies. Okay, eventually when you get your budget sheet, you'll see a list of all the things, same prices as AFO. Now for this project, I do have more students who bring in supplies from home. So if you needed more of like a cylinder tube shape, maybe you bring in a paper towel roll from home. If you needed a ball that you're going to build off of, okay, you can't just bring in a ball and be like, here's my toy. But if you need a ball for your game or for your project, you could bring in a ball and then kind of build on it, work from there. So those are the things we want to plan ahead for. Hopefully that gives you a good view of kind of the supplies. I know you may or may not remember all of them. Cardboard and hot glue are still free. And then we have the other things that you can build and work from as well. Okay, let me see if I can get smaller again. All right, and then now that you know supplies, this is where you're going to really start filling in for your final project. Okay, so you need to, on slide 6, the orange slide here, describe your final project idea. Okay, so you're going to type in there, tell me what is it, how does it work? The next one is going to be, how does your project idea meet your client's needs? You're going to have to type in full sentences there as well. Tell me how it's going to meet their specific therapeutic goals. After that, if you need multi-sketch paper, okay, I have 2 different versions of it. I have a blank multi-sketch paper. This is the one I would recommend you use. But I also have our traditional one that has more of the grid papers on it, the isometric paper on it. No matter which one you choose to do, you're going to want to draw your project as big as you can in that view, okay? This is meant to help you plan ahead. You are not allowed to start building until you have finished your multi-view sketches, okay? So choose which type of paper you have. It's on the table over by the bulletin board, by the box of supplies, okay, where we usually get our student supplies from. If you have more than one piece, more than one thing you are building for your toy, for your game, you have to do a multi-view sketch for each of those, okay? So plan ahead. The whole purpose of that is to make sure you're ready to build before you actually start building, okay? On slide 7, you will be adding pictures. So kind of like here, how I am, and I just realized I was kind of small on your screen when I was showing off, okay? Let me go back for a second. That is your blank view there, okay? These are the multi-view sketches with the paper. On slide 7 here, you would have to do kind of what I'm doing here, okay? Holding your paper up, getting an image, adding it to slide 7. I do not expect, and no one is allowed to start building today, but you may start, or you may get to the point where you're going to be building starting tomorrow. Okay. So multi-view sketches, you have to answer all the questions on slides 1 through 6 today with the substitute. Okay. You may get to the multi-sketch part, in which I would like you to. Each person in your group does not have to do the same multi-sketch. You could divide and conquer. Maybe one person sketches one piece and then somebody else sketches the other piece. Okay, you guys are a team. You need to decide who is doing what and give each of you those roles and items. Hopefully I've explained all the things. Okay, any questions that you may have and have not been answered here in the slideshow, or your classmates cannot answer, I can try to answer for you tomorrow. Nonetheless, this should be enough work for today. I believe you guys can come up with all the great ideas. Please remember, it has to be unique and new. You cannot just make something that's already been made. You have to make it different, and you have to make it fit their therapeutic goal and their interests. Good luck, guys. I will see you tomorrow.